Good afternoon, Kathy Beatty here with Divorce Support Anonymous. Thank you for joining us on day 26 on how to have a breakthrough Christmas. So my hopes and prayers for you were that Christmas Day proved to be special and sacred and a time where you could be with those that you love, family, your children. Who knows, this year has been so wacky and so strange. I don't know where you found yourself or what you have experienced this past Christmas, but I know that today is the day after Christmas, the 26th, a time when we can start packing away Christmas, and as I spoke about last night, of wrapping things up, wrapping it up as in putting an end to it. I want to talk today about beginning to look forward, however, and because for us to have a breakthrough, for us to make changes in our life, we need to know where we are. First, we have to decide, where am I? What is this space and place that I'm in right now? What's around me? What do I love? What do I not love? What needs to stay? What needs to go? So the question of finding where we are is vitally important for us to have a breakthrough, because then we have to ask ourselves a question: where do you want to go? What's the plan? What's the plan? And as this year is beginning to end and wrap up, we can begin looking at 2021 and praying that it's a different year than we've experienced before. I want to talk to you today a little bit about what I cover in this book, Building Your Future After Divorce. And I love having these sessions, because as I work with people, we get to the point to where we've grieved the relationship, we've acknowledged the losses, we've accepted where we are, we've made all the decisions that we need to make. And now comes the question, what now? Where do we go? And after Christmas is over and we begin to approach the new year, it's not too early to take an assessment of where you are right now. And that's exactly where this book begins. Suddenly Single, it's one in the series that I created. This is a workbook, Building Your Future After Divorce. And we begin by having an assessment of looking at where our life is. So we talk about giving ourselves permission to look honestly at our life, to take an assessment honestly of our life. And we have to decide where we are before we can decide where we want to go. So we have to make a decision on building that new life. And then we have to take an assessment. And sometimes through taking this assessment or another honest assessment, we can get the breakthrough that we need. And we can see the areas that we need desperately to make change if we are going to grow, if we're going to move forward, if we're going to have a breakthrough in our Christmas season and in our life. So we begin this and we ask, it's in a few different categories, and you can jot this down or listen to the recording again so you can jot it down if you don't have a paper right now or pencil. But first of all, we take an assessment in our feelings of describing your life overall right now. How are you doing in the different areas? Physical, intellectual stimulation, spiritual peace, emotional health. And then finding which of those areas are most important. And we talk about relationships. Who is the support system in your life? Who are those individuals? Do you have a best friend, someone you can confide in who allows you to be totally open, vulnerable, and unguarded? Are there social activities that you're involved in? So this talks about relationships, and then there are several questions here to get an assessment of relationships. And you can do this without the book, But write down, okay, I'm going to talk about feelings, I'm going to talk about relationships, and I am going to be totally honest, giving myself permission to be totally honest of what's good, what's bad, what needs to stay, and what needs to change. And that can even be family relationships that need to change, that need to have certain boundaries in place that perhaps you don't have right now that are healthy. And then, of course, we have to talk about finances because, as I say in this book, and I've said it many times, until you control your finances, you cannot control your life. It's so key that we are disciplined, we have a handle on our finances. In fact, next Friday Night Live, I'm going to have in Peter Letzman, who's an attorney and also holds financial peace classes. And we're going to talk about preparing for the new year. I'm excited about that. But in this assessment, we're going to talk about finances. How do you rate your debt right now on a scale of 1 to 10? What debt causes you the most concern right now? So all of those aspects that we are getting an assessment of where we're at so we can begin to move forward and make those changes. The next section is children. One word to describe your relationship with your children. And that's important because I don't think there's anything more important to us if you have children than that relationship that is healthy. And then direction is the next category. What unfinished business is holding you back from living the life you want? Such an important question. Is it finances, relationship, lack of forgiveness, fear, unbelief, other people's expectations? All of those things. So we take an assessment on the direction our life is going. And then we talk about control. We take an assessment on control that we have. A good point for us to realize where we have control. And we don't have as much as we think we do. But we need to just discover that. What's one thing in your life you would change if you had more control? And how much control you currently have? Is there a power struggle in your life? With whom? And who's winning? So these are all questions, and we review the assessment, we review our life, and then we talk about what it takes to be ready to have that breakthrough, to move forward. And I use the acronym READY as something for us to assess whether we are ready really to make change. A lot of us may say, oh, I want to make change. I want this life to change. I'm going to do those New Year's resolutions and I'm going to make those changes. And then January 15th comes around and we've not made any changes. Well, maybe we weren't ready, honestly, to make the changes. Or maybe, which is something else that I've been focusing a lot on lately. In fact, I've got a book coming out in February. Let's see if I can find, here's the temporary, I'm playing around with covers, 30 Days Toward Healing. Maybe we need healing in those areas before we can truly make change. I think that is such a profound truth because we want to change. We put ourselves out there, we try to change, and then we fail, and then we beat ourselves up and we say, why? Why can't I make this change? Many times it's because we need healing in that area that we have not had. And until we have that healing, the change is not going to take place. So I'm excited about this book because I think it can be something that really helps us get to the point of being able to heal and then to make the true change that we want in our life. So back to ready. What does it take to be ready? The R is for risk. We have to be willing to take risk. Smart, calculated risk, but we have to be willing to take some risk. Because if you do not take risk, nothing changes. Everything stays the same. E in the acronym READY, enough, to know that you are enough and you have enough to build a fabulous life, the life that God would have for you, the life of peace, of purpose, of direction. The next letter is action. We can talk and talk and talk about doing things, but until we do something and take action, we're not going to have any change and we're not going to be moving in a direction. So action, we have to take action. which, by the way, in my 6-month program, we do 10 weeks of going through the divorce, healing from the divorce. Then we do 8 weeks of designing our new life, which is what we use this workbook for. And then we do 5 weeks of mastermind. So that's a gentle, loving accountability to each other, because through this book, we create a new life declaration. And when we have a new life declaration, there's going to be some action in it. And we do have to have an action to move forward. And then D is determination, that we do not get discouraged, that we don't listen to other people's expectations, that we listen to the true dream that God has given us, the direction that we have worked on, that we want to go in, and the plan that God wants for us. God says there's a purpose and a plan for our life. And that's important for us to be determined to find it, because it's not always easy. In fact, life's hard, isn't it? I mean, life is hard. It's nothing really is handed to many of us. We have to work hard. We have to, the scriptures say, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. It's a struggle. It is a struggle. But the final acronym in the word ready is yearning. To be able to listen to what our heart is truly telling us. Because there's a reason our yearning, our longing, in some areas is a gift to us to pull us in a certain direction. So we do want to listen to our heart's longing and trusting your gut and your God that you're ready to move forward and make changes in your life. Stop being led by others and listen to your own soul. Important stuff. So on this day, December 26th, are you ready? Are you ready to be honest with yourself, to take the assessment, to begin moving forward, wrapping up 2020, wrapping it up, putting a bow on it, and sending it off? It takes preparation. And I hope these tips today are going to be of help to help you get the breakthrough that you need.